Hello there, this is 7Edition and I'm Shafiqa Rizali. News making the headlines. Health Ministry urges all mass gatherings be postponed immediately. Malaysia's foreign exchange buffer to help mitigate economic effect of COVID-19. Good evening. Following the World Health Organization (WHO's) declaration that COVID-19 is now a pandemic, Malaysia, which has recorded 149 positive cases, wants all mass gatherings to be postponed to minimize the spread of the virus. This includes religious events and gatherings. Labeling the spread a pandemic indicates that it has officially spread around the world. It is also a reflection of the WHO's concern at what it calls the alarming level of the coronavirus spread, severity and inaction, and the expectation that the number of cases, deaths and affected countries will continue to climb. Such development has prompted Putrajaya to advise the people in Malaysia who experience respiratory infection symptoms not to attend programs that involve crowded places, including religious activities.
Apa yang dimaklumkan oleh Jemaah Menteri, kita menggesa supaya kalau boleh kita mengurangkan crowd gathering dan juga mass event. Kerana ini adalah untuk kepentingan kita sendiri supaya kita tercegah daripada jangkitan coronavirus atau COVID-19.
The health minister was speaking to the media after visiting the Sungai Buloh Hospital in Selangor, the main dedicated health centre to treat the coronavirus infection. He also said that following WHO's declaration of COVID-19 as a pandemic, Malaysia is at the highest level of preparedness.
Ya, apa yang plan kita ada kesiapsiagaan menyediakan sebuah hospital yang memang khusus untuk COVID-19 dan kita mempunyai keupayaan untuk sampai ke berapa bed kita buat? 770. Kita boleh berupaya untuk mengendalikan hingga 772 pesakit at one time di sini di Hospital Sungai Buloh.
On a gathering from February 27th to March 1st at the Sri Petaling Mosque in Selangor, where a Bruneian man infected with COVID-19 also took part, the health minister called on those who attended the gathering to cooperate with the health ministry to ensure that COVID-19 does not spread in the community. They should report to the authorities if they show any symptoms of COVID-19. Meanwhile, after recording its first ever COVID-19 case, Brunei has recorded 10 more confirmed infections in the country, all of which were traced back to the tabligh event in Sri Petaling, Kuala Lumpur. Local health authorities said the new cases are all linked to the 53-year-old man who was found to have gone to the tabligh and returned home on March 3rd. As of recently today, all 11 new cases are in stable condition without high fevers or in need of respiratory aid. The new cases include contacts of the first man, including his 46-year-old wife and 2 children who did not travel with him to Malaysia. Another was a 61-year-old man and his 30-year-old son who went to the event, with the latter later infecting his 33-year-old wife. Around 90 Bruneians were at the same religious event at the Jami' Sri Petaling Mosque on February 28th until March 3rd. Investigations are still ongoing into the new cases, including contact tracing for all of the 11 cases, and a quarantine order has been issued to all contacts of every case. Health authorities in Malaysia are currently trying to track other attendees of the event and have asked them to contact the Crisis Preparedness and Response Centre via its hotline stated on the screen. And now, in response to the COVID-19 being declared a pandemic, weekly Friday prayers at mosque will be shortened, while masses at Catholic churches in the peninsula have been suspended. Minister in the Prime Minister's Department, Datuk Sri Dr. Zulkifli Muhammad Al-Bakri said prayers at mosque can still be performed with precaution and guidelines. Mosques have been urged to take necessary steps to ensure the health and safety of the congregation. He also said that those showing COVID-19 symptoms need not to go for Friday prayers, as sick people were exempted from attending. The issue of Friday prayers was among 5 other working papers related to COVID-19, which would be submitted to the National Fatwa Council. Other items including shaking hands, organising wedding receptions, handling an infected person's remains and others. While for the Catholic Church in Peninsular Malaysia, all public masses are suspended beginning this weekend. The Catholic bishops of Peninsular Malaysia announced today that all weekend and weekday public masses will be suspended from March 14th or March 13th if the state's weekend begins on Friday to March 29th. Similar suspension applies to other church activities such as catechism, classes, meetings, gatherings, formations and fellowship sessions which need to be cancelled or placed on hold during the suspension period. Malaysia has a wider current account surplus and its foreign exchange buffer to face the effects of COVID-19. According to Fitch Ratings, Malaysia's strong financial standing is better than its peers within the same international rating system. With Malaysia's strong financial standing, Fitch explained that it enables foreign investors to play an important role in financing Malaysia's public debt. However, the rating agency said market tension could occur due to uncertainties in the political front lately and the fall in the oil price impacting the government's fiscal target. Fitch added that its previous growth forecast for Malaysia at 4.3% for this year looks unattainable now and could be lower by a percentage point. Prasarana has been cleaning the mass rapid transit MRT, light rapid transit LRT and monorail lines and buses operated by the company daily since the breakout of COVID-19. Chief Operating Officer for the Sungai Buloh Kajang MRT line, Azmi Muhammad Zain, gave this assurance to commuters that they have ramped up their cleanliness to ensure the virus doesn't spread through the public transport operated by them.
Aktiviti penyah virus ini akan berlaku bermula waktu malam. Selepas semua tren pulang ke depo, kita akan melakukan pembersihan tren ke semua tren di dalam depo. Jadi kita akan pastikan sebelum bermula operasi pukul 6 pagi esok, semua tren telah dicuci. Dan untuk staf pula, semua kena mengikuti saringan kesihatan sebelum mereka memulakan tugas atau memasuki office.
Azmi also stressed that the cleaners also focus on cleaning each train during the morning and afternoon peak hours between 7 a.m. and 9 a.m. as well as between 5 p.m. and 7 p.m. Outside of these peak hours, the cleaners will focus on cleaning the station itself by disinfecting surfaces touched by commuters such as the escalators and ticket machines. Malaysia Airlines Berhad MAB has asked its 13,000 employees to take voluntary unpaid leave as the spread of COVID-19 takes a heavy toll on airlines' bottom line. When contacted, an MAB spokesperson said the national carrier is offering all employees the option of taking 3 months no-pay leave or 5 days no-pay leave per month for at least 3 months starting April. On Monday, MAB Group CEO Captain Izham Ismail announced a 10% pay cut for its senior management as part of measures to lower operational cost and also forego their allowances. The voluntary unpaid leave program is extended to employees employed by subsidiaries of Malaysia Aviation Group such as MAB Cargo, MAB Engineering, Firefly and Mars Swings. Already, major international airlines such as Singapore Airlines, Cathay Pacific, British Airways, Lufthansa, Emirates, Virgin Atlantic and EasyJet are offering staff unpaid leave. In another development, Malaysia Airlines has temporarily suspended its return flights to Seoul, South Korea, starting tomorrow until March 31st. The national carrier in a statement said this follows the government's decision to ban travellers from Iran, Italy and South Korea, while Malaysians returning from the three countries will be quarantined for 14 days. Malaysia Airlines will manage its final flight, MH66, from Kuala Lumpur to Incheon today, with the return flight on MH67 tomorrow. Affected passengers can request for alternative travelling dates until December 31st, 2020, ask for full refund, or be diverted to other destinations in China or Japan. A pandemic declaration of COVID-19 outbreak by the World Health Organization WHO ought not to incite unnecessary panic. According to WHO Director General Dr. Tedros Adhanom Ghebreyesus, the outbreak can still be controlled as it appeared to be declining in countries such as China and South Korea. The WHO Director General added, declaring a pandemic does not change WHO's assessment of the threat posed by COVID-19 outbreak, as there is no criteria for what reaches the level of pandemic and what does not, and there is no threshold of cases or deaths that triggers the definition. A pandemic is a worldwide spread of a new infectious disease, usually affecting a large number of people, as there are now over 118,000 confirmed cases of the illness in 114 countries and territories around the world. So far, 4,291 people have lost their lives, and it is the first time WHO has called an outbreak a pandemic since the H1N1, which is the first pandemic caused by coronavirus. Now, following the development by the WHO, President Donald Trump has announced on Wednesday that the United States would ban all travel from Europe for 30 days, starting at midnight Friday, as the country reckons with the spread of the COVID-19 and the White House grapples with the severity of the situation. However, he specified that the restriction would not apply to the United Kingdom. During a rare address to the nation, he criticized European governments for failing to act quickly to restrict travel from China, saying US clusters had been seeded by European travelers.
We are at a critical time in the fight against the virus. We made a life-saving move with early action on China. Now we must take the same action with Europe. We will not delay. I will never hesitate to take any necessary steps to protect the lives, health, and safety of the American people. I will always put the well-being of America first.
Trump added that the prohibitions would also apply to the tremendous amount of trade and cargo and various other things as the government gets approval. The president also said he would take emergency action to provide relief to workers who are affected. He pointed out that he was asking Congress for $50 billion for small business loans and called for immediate payroll tax cuts. Trump has repeatedly played down the threat, initially claiming that only a handful of Americans were at risk. The announcement came as confirmed COVID-19 cases in the US rolled past 1,000. Now, Australia's government said on Thursday it would pump $11.4 billion into the economy to prevent the coronavirus outbreak from pushing the country into its first recession in nearly 30 years. The amount announced by Prime Minister Scott Morrison will be pumped into the economy, including tax relief for small businesses and one-off welfare payments to pensioners, family carers and young people.
This plan is about keeping Australians in jobs. This plan is about keeping a business in business, particularly small and medium-sized businesses. And this plan is about ensuring the Australian economy bounces back stronger on the other side of it, and with that, the budget bounces back with it. Today, we're announcing a series of measures. Those measures are designed to achieve those outcomes. They are heavily focused on understanding that it is businesses that keep people in jobs. put this stimulus in place.
The measures, he stressed, are aimed at keeping Australians at jobs. As fears grow, the country could slip into recession. Morrison said businesses that are confronted with cash flow challenges and demand impacts, particularly in the short term, are addressed by this package. The Prime Minister said fiscal stimulus is necessary to deal with the economic challenges Australia will face in the months ahead due to COVID-19. Australia has 112 virus infections as of Wednesday, up from 100 the previous days, with 3 deaths. After the breather, 2 killed in Port Klang crash. Don't go away. Thanks for staying with us now. Still on the local front, 2 motorcyclists were killed in an accident involving 3 motorcycles and a container lorry in Port Klang, Selangor. 2 others were injured in the incident, which occurred along Jalan Pelabuhan Barat heading towards Shah Alam at 8 p.m. Selangor Traffic Enforcement and Investigation Unit Chief Superintendent Azman Shariat said the dead have been identified as refiners Rafael Mantui, aged 23, and V. Gurumurthy, 35 years old. Initial investigation showed that refiners, who was riding a Benelli 175 motorcycle, was trying to overtake the container lorry when Gurumurthy, who was riding a Honda Wave, suddenly crashed into his machine. An oncoming motorcyclist then rammed into one of the motorcycles, resulting in the rider and his pillion rider falling onto the road. Both the motorcyclists were killed when they were run over by the container lorry. The other rider, Muhammad Lokman Nurhaki Hassan, aged 25, and pillion rider Julina Liza Mohammed, aged 26, however, escaped with minor injuries. The victims' bodies were sent to the Tengku Ampuan Rahimah Hospital for post-mortem. In Terengganu, a 31-year-old fisherman was sentenced to 8 months in prison for beating up his 57-year-old father last month. The Kuala Terengganu Magistrates Court delivered the verdict after the accused, Muhammad Fakhruddin Fauzi, pleaded guilty to the charge under the Penal Code. The accused was reported to punch his father, Fauzi Ismail, who suffered swelling to his chin. The incident took place at a house in Kampung Losong in Kuala Terengganu at 2:30 a.m. on February 27th, when the victim tried to stop a fight between the accused and his younger brother. Magistrate Nordiana Abdul Aziz ordered sentence to run from the date of his arrest on March 8th. Now let's hop on to Clickbait, where we take a look at what's trending and making the rounds in the cyber world today. Amid the ongoing concern of the spread of the COVID-19, people at the Sultan Mahmud Airport in Terengganu yesterday had another thing to worry about. The situation at the airport was slightly chaotic when a Perodua Kancho suddenly ended up in the airport building. Did the driver mistake the airport terminal for a car park? Here's the story. In the 5:30 p.m. incident, the airport staff tried to stop the Kanchil from entering the airport as soon as they saw that it was not going the right way. It soon reached the arrival hall as the automatic gates opened upon detecting the car. The staff tried to calm her down, but she refused to get out of the vehicle. In the end, they decided to push the car out of the building with the woman still inside. The staff then managed to persuade her to come out after about an hour or so. It is learned that the woman in her 50s suffered from depression and was having a mental breakdown at that time. She is now being investigated, and the airport has now ramped up security in case such things would occur again. Luckily, no one was hurt in the incident, but it has been going viral across the net, much to the amusement of social media users. Now updated as of 7 p.m, here are the top trending topics and searches on the internet today. Up next, 2 goals delight for Perak in Super League win. Stay with us for the details. You're still with us on 7Edition. Oil prices fell on Wednesday, giving up earlier gains after Saudi oil company Saudi Aramco said it had been directed by the Energy Ministry to raise its production capacity by 1 million barrels per day. Brent crude slid $0.41 or 1.1% to $36.81 a barrel, while WTI crude dropped 1.2% to $33.94 a barrel. The drop came after the country's Ministry of Energy have asked the company to boost its production capacity to 13 million barrels per day from 12 million now. Saudi has been pumping around 9.7 million per barrel per day in the past few months, but has extra capacity it can turn on and has hundreds of millions of barrels of crude in storage. Failure to strike a deal last week on oil production cuts between the Organization of the Petroleum Exporting Countries and its allies, led by Russia, had previously sent oil prices into a nosedive and sparked fears of what a possible price war. Now, Bursa Malaysia closed at the day's low on Thursday amid volatile global share markets, with COVID-19 as the main cause and weakening crude oil prices aggravating the situation. At 5 p.m, the FBM KLCI erased 24.40 points, or 1.69% to 1,419.43 from Wednesday's close of 1,443.83. Onto stocks to watch. Crest Builder Holdings Berhad's medium-term outlook is positive, anchored by several construction wins into the past few months, while the upcoming launches will be one of its major earnings contributors beyond fiscal year 2021. The company also has stable income from a concession arrangement, and analysts believe the value of its investment properties deserves more attention. Next, KIP Real Estate Investment Trust KIP REIT reports a yield-accretive portfolio supported by stable income-generating assets, given the prevailing low-interest rate environment. The company is currently trading below its book value with a discount of 15%, but with its stable income-generating assets and attractive yield, analysts are confident of its initiatives. Onto the podium football, the Super League. 4 matches were played on Wednesday night. Felda United beat Malacca United 3-2. UiTM and Kedah played out a 1-1 draw. Terengganu draw 3-3 with Selangor, while Perak recorded a 2-0 win over Petaling Jaya City FC. In Ipoh, Perak took the lead in the 24th minute thanks to a thumping header from Shahrul Saad following a corner kick. The hosts then doubled the lead 3 minutes after the hour mark when Thierry Chanta Bin curled in a free kick into the top corner. The visitors pushed on to get back into the game in the remaining period, but the scoreline remained till the full-time whistle. The win lifted Perak to second in the standings with 7 points, 2 points behind JDT at the top after 3 matches. 100 floors up and over 1,100 feet in the air, the Edge offers visitors unparalleled 360-degree views of New York's iconic skyline. The highest outdoor observation deck is Western Hemisphere, allowing adrenaline seekers to gain an entirely new perspective of the city that has never before been experienced. The visual wraps up 7Edition tonight. I'm Chef Garzali. Thank you for tuning in and good night.